Hi folks, this is going to be a short little walk around video on our 1971 Ariens 7 horsepower Sno-Thro that my dad bought brand new in July 1971 for $371. I'll give you a little history on her and I'll let you know the parts that we had to change on her over the years. As you can see, she has the 7 horsepower Tecumseh engine. The head was rebuilt this past spring because the adapter that was put in years ago when we did the maintenance on her to change the plug, it didn't come out all that easy. The adapter spun, so my dad decided to have the head rebuilt and put it into original condition. The carburetor you see is all original. It's never been rebuilt and it's never been replaced. The muffler was replaced about 5-6 years ago. The old original muffler just was all rusty as anything, so we changed that. The gas tank cap was changed a couple of years ago because the original started to leak gas through it. The cover you see I replaced this past spring because the old original cover cracked and the sleeve cracked off the main body of the cover, and over time it just shook and rattled and eventually the shaft wore a hole through the cover. The cover is an Ariens cover, but it's not the 100% correct cover. And the reason why I put this cover on is because it protrudes out from the engine 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch. I did have to modify her in the back where I made it where it slips behind the plate that's connected to the engine. And as you can see, there's a nice tight and enclosed fit. The electric start was added around 1985. The drift bars you see are made out of 3/4 inch DuPont Corian. I tried for years and years to find the original drift bars that belong with the machine, but I could never find them. The bucket shoes are the original shoes, but they were remade 15-20 years ago. My father had the man use 2 to 3 times the material that they originally came with, so those have held up for years. Looking at the inside of the bucket, if we change 3, 4, 5, 6 or so shear pins on the shaft, that's probably a lot. Couldn't really give you the exact number on that. The roll pins in the fan assembly, they sheared off, I think 2-3 winters ago. We had a snowfall that was really crystally, and while I was blowing they just sheared off. So the impeller roll pins were changed. I don't know if they were getting old and weak or if it was the snow. While that repair was done, they did spray the impeller, the shaft, and the gearbox. I don't know why they did that. I wish they didn't. I would have told them not to, but they did. Maybe they figured while they were in there, they'd do it. The scraper bar was changed this past summer. The original scraper bar was worn down about 1/4 to 5/16. But other than the impeller, shaft, and gearbox, all that paint inside the bucket's original. In fact, all the paint on the machine is original. She's all original. She's never been rebuilt or redone over. My big job over the past spring and summer was taking the old original worm gear assembly and converting it back to the older style with the, I guess you want to say, sprocket type design. I'm not sure the terminology, but that's the terminology we'll use. I found an old Ariens parts man a few towns over who had all the parts for me to do it, so I bought them and I converted it over. I did happen to find a brand new chute off of eBay that I won for I think about $5.50. The tires are the original Goodyear tires, studded design. They do the job up and down the driveway, but where the snow buries you in front of the drive, they do spin. I never use her in posi traction. I just don't like the way she feels. She's harder to maneuver, so I never use the posi traction, and if I do, it's very, very seldom. Now I'm considering changing the tires with either the Snow Hogs or the X-Track, and a few people that I know with the snow hogs on their machines and the machines that I have used, I think the snow hog gives the machine a little bit of a hoppy, bouncy feel. So I think I'm leaning towards the X-Track. If any of you machine owners out there have any input on that, I'd like to hear about that. The nameplate you see I ended up making because the 8 horsepower nameplate the used parts man had, it didn't mount that high on the handlebars, and I wanted to mount the nameplate very high to make sure that the upper handle was very secure. I did take the Ariens logo off the plate and adhered it to the new one, and I put the Ariens name on. I could not use the older Ariens name because the lettering was too old and brittle and hard and it wouldn't come off. That nameplate you see is made out of 3/4 inch DuPont Corian, and one of the reasons why I did make it that high is because I think someday I would like to add the chute tilting mechanism. I don't know if I'll be able to or if I'll find one, but that's one reason why I left it that big. As you can see now, the chute is very easy to turn. Not that it wasn't easy to turn with the worm gear, but it takes shorter turns to turn the chute. Now, as you can see, the stick looking piece here, my dad probably made that after the first storm. He used the thrower in during that slushy kind of snow. As all of us Ariens owners know, these older machines are pretty much worthless and useless in slushy snow. I know there's a fan kit that's available to improve that, but this machine will never see that feature. This machine's going to stay just the way she is. Now, as far as the maintenance, every spring we go to town on her and we go from top to bottom on her. We drain the fuel tank every year. There's never any stabilizer added. The engine oil's changed every year. The gearbox oil is changed for the regular maintenance cycle. The shaft on the augers is greased. She's been very well maintained. Maybe that's why she treats us so good. And she's cleaned and she's polished every spring. And then for spring and summer and fall, we put her down in the cellar. So now I'll give you a little listen to her, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Well, that's the video on our 1971 Ariens 7 horsepower Sno-Thro. I hope you enjoyed the video.